Airbox. You click, we ship.
Terms and conditions apply.
Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to Voices on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. It is just 4 minutes past the hour of 11 here in our studios, and you're listening to Voices on WINNFM 98.9. Today is the last day of 2021. It's Friday, December 31st. I just want to use this opportunity to say a Happy New Year to each and every one of you. And thank you for your support, your love, your patronage, and for all that you have done. Thank you so much for listening to WINNFM 98.9, and we look forward to serving you even better in 2022. You would agree with me when I say that 2021 was a year filled with, I would say, obstacles that resulted in successes, many challenges, many surprises. We are going to enter the new year, leaving people behind, leaving loved ones behind, of course. Some will not be entering 2021 with us, but through it all, you're happy to be alive, you're happy to be here, and we look forward to a bright and prosperous new year when it comes. I know this is a time when we come and we put together our New Year resolutions and we say, hey, for the new year, these are some of the things that we want to achieve, some of the things that we want to do for the new year. It's not too late to do that. You want to make amends, you want to fix things with you and a friend, a loved one. Go for it. For today's edition of Voices, I want to do with you a recap of 2021 and, talk about some of the stories and some of the things that have made headlines here in St. Kitts and Nevis across the different diverse communities, and basically, give you a rundown and have a conversation with you on the different stories and news, rather, that made the headlines for 2021. And of course, we're going to talk about our expectations for 2022. And so I used the opportunity over the past few days and today to go through, the year and, look at some of the stories that we were able to write on and comment on, and some of the things that happened in St. Kitts and Nevis from January right up until ending of November, December 2021. So I want to use this opportunity to give just give you a rundown, and we're gonna have a conversation on these, but we'll take it, of course, one at a time for today's edition of Voices. For those of you who are interested in calling in, you can call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. Remember, we have the WhatsApp number, so you can send us a WhatsApp at 662-2204. Now, I'm giving you the opportunity to call or to send a WhatsApp message to talk about your highlight for 2021. Something that for you stood out, whether it be in the community, something that you did personally, whether you achieved something that perhaps took you 10 years. I'm going to give you the opportunity to do so now. And we have our first caller on the line, so we'll head to the phone lines. And caller, good morning. You're on Voices.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Devon, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. What about you?
I'm doing great. This is Journey.
Awesome.
I was trying to raise our people's consciousness of the happenings, the things that are playing before us on a daily basis, from coronavirus to the food we eat, from economics and the new world order for the past year or maybe 2 years since I've taken my journey to knowledge of self. I'm going to get to your topic, but before, I want to raise this to your thinking. Now, Mexico has donated a sculpture to the United Nations, and they have placed this massive sculpture at the entering of the UN at their headquarters. Now, this sculpture that they have crafted and the UN has placed at their headquarters is a sculpture that represents, in my opinion, what is written in the book of Daniel chapter 7 and Revelation chapter 13 about the beast that was risen in these scriptures in the book of Daniel and Revelation. The question is, Cornelia, why would the UN place this sculpture at their headquarters at the entrance of the visitors? Now, if you're in the knows and you know the scripture, the UN, in my opinion, is the headquarters of the New World Order. If you go deep and do your research, Devon, you will know this. And the UN monitor everything, from food, economics, trade, everything that they have placed under the guise of world peace. All you have to do is to do your research, Devon, because the truth is available. I've mentioned last year that those who control the world have our history and our blueprints at their fingertips. Today they are showing us what they have done, what they are doing to us in movies, and we take it as entertainment. I want to raise our people level of consciousness going into 2022, because this thing that they have placed at the headquarters of the UN, the whole world meet at the UN, and that includes us, our representatives in government here in the Caribbean. These things are written in the scripture, and they have our story that they hid from us to their fingertips. That's why they are playing with us, Devon. Now, I don't want to frighten anyone, but like I said before, if you know the scriptures and you're in the knows, by that I mean if you do your research, you would see what is playing out before us. Mexico donated this sculpture to them. It was in the making. They gave us COVID-19 2020. 2019 was the year of return. The whole world borders was closed down because they know that 400 years of slavery was expired. And for those in the diaspora who want to return to the motherland, they closed the borders. 2019 was the year of return for Africans who choose to go back to the continent. The West does not want we in the diaspora who have the finance to go back to build Africa, because why would they allow us to build for ourselves that would cripple their economies and everything that they're exploiting us off?
Right, caller. So we want to take some more calls, so quickly wrap up.
Okay, Devon, I'll try and get back in later.
Right, and thank you so much for your contribution to this program. The phone lines are open, and we're giving you the opportunity to call in and to speak about your highlight for 2021, and of course some of the things that have sparked interest for you. And of course you can speak to your expectations for the new year. The phone lines are open, so you can call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. Now, if we have no calls, I want to bring two headlines to you, and we can have a discussion on that. Now, looking at, let me say, good news, we had the Bank of Nevis Limited opening its doors in St. Kitts. So the Bank of Nevis is now open in St. Kitts, and this was one of the major accomplishments in 2021. It was a proud moment, of course, for St. Kitts and Nevis, seeing that the Bank of Nevis, an indigenous bank, was able to come to St. Kitts and to take up market and expanding their services in St. Kitts. And we're also seeing recently where the CIBC, First Caribbean International Bank, would be selling its branch to the St. Kitts, OECS countries, and Aruba. And in here in St. Kitts and Nevis, it will be acquired by the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank. So I just wanted to put those two out there. It speaks to the strength of these financial institutions, and of course, we play a part in making these financial institutions thrive. Now, looking back in earlier 2021, we had the shark attacks, a swimmer who was at Turtle Beach. We would recall that this made headlines, I would say, local, regional, and in some cases it got on the international scene, where on January 9th, 2021, involving a student, she was attacked at Turtle Beach by a shark, and she's a student of the Ross University. She was in St. Kitts for some time receiving medical treatment, and she was subsequently flown out to receive additional medical care. Of course, this frightened a lot of people as the questions were raised as to how did it happen, why did it happen, why was the student in that area swimming at that particular time, and there were so many stories going around as to what people believe may have happened. But this took place on January 9th, 2021, where a student was attacked by a shark at Turtle Beach. Now we're looking in the tourism industry where negotiations continued for the Ritz-Carlton, but Six Senses pulls out, and that is according to the Prime Minister. He said that on January 14th, he said that the developer for Six Senses is no longer interested, but the government is continuing negotiations to bring other brands to the Federation. This too was a bit tricky, as we saw, we're in a COVID-19 pandemic, and so people were raising questions as to how wise would it be to, bring another hotel in a pandemic where we saw the COVID-19 pandemic basically shut down the tourism industry. And so perhaps one would have thought that the idea would have been, or should have been, you bringing something that perhaps would not bend as easily because of the harsh effects of COVID-19. We know COVID did not pick and choose which sector to attack, but we know for a fact that tourism got the hardest hit. And so some persons were of the opinion that, hey, if you bring a hotel, I mean, while you may think this is bringing new employment into the country, COVID is still there, and people are not going to travel if they're afraid of the new variants that are going around and cases increasing, and all of that. Now, taking a look further now, going through different headlines that made the news, and some you heard about for a while, and some that are still pending. We heard of a story where the police, or I think it was family relatives rather, who found an elderly man badly beaten on January 18th, 2021. And his name is James Pinney, 68 years old. And reports indicate that it was about 2 in the morning when he was attacked, and a family source believed that the motive was robbery, as she claims that the man was at a bar the previous night, and he, was being generous and purchasing drinks for other people. So they believe perhaps robbery was the motive. Of course, when we heard about this, many people were outraged as to why would you attack an elderly man and beat him that badly, if it is a case, of it being a robbery. Now, looking into COVID-19, we heard of 8 guests being charged for breaching COVID regulations. 8 guests were staying at a resort, I think it was on Nevis, where they literally just got up and left the hotel without seeking permission from whether it be the hotel authority or the task force or whoever. But they decided to get up and just leave the hotel and integrate into the community without the necessary approval. And in other words, they just breached the quarantine. And so they went under the clock, as we say locally, and they were charged. Each guest was ordered to pay $1,500. I think this is EC. I'm not entirely sure. But each guest was ordered to pay $1,500 on May 17th. So I'm just giving you, a rundown of some of the things that made the headlines for 2021. Now, continuing, we also had in 2021, and these are some shocking, some shocking developments. Now, Abdias Samuel used the opportunity to dismiss allegations of people entering the country without quarantine. We would recall that it was around June, the ending of June, when allegations surfaced that people in high places were coming to St. Kitts and Nevis, and instead of, like the usual person, going into the quarantine, whether it be 14 days or 9 days, if you're fully vaccinated, we heard stories of people coming into the country and not having to go through the quarantine process. Now, that allegation was debunked. It was refuted by, or dismissed, rather, by the chair of the National COVID-19 Task Force, Abdias Samuel. And Samuel even went on to say that it's basically an allegation and it is far from the truth. And he went on to say that if you can bring evidence to reinforce that claim, he will immediately step down as chair of the task force. Moving right along, we hear from the Premier of Nevis and Minister of Tourism that there was, or in this case, what was a year-end deadline for the start of construction for the one and only resort in Nevis. Today is the deadline for the construction of the resort. So, in other words, today is the last day for the developers to come and say, hey, we have this amount of money and we want to start construction at this time. And the NIA is being given a clear indication that at this time construction will start. And so for the new year, we hope to hear an update on this. But as it is right now, I think we can safely say that this perhaps may not come to fruition. But there was a year-end deadline for start of construction. And so after today, if nothing starts, then that is basically it. What is very disappointing, and I'm going to be really honest, what's very disappointing is that I think negotiations for this started in January of 2021. And every time the question was posed for an update on these talks, on these negotiations, it was always that the talks are still continuing and that the developers are trying to find funds or whatever to fund this project. So in other words, for a whole year, we unfortunately heard of conversations that of course we would not be privy to, but conversations and talks and negotiations, all of that technical language, where they're looking to bring a resort called One and Only to Nevis. And now there's a deadline, and we still have not heard of any update whatsoever on this. For the new year, we're hoping to hear an update on this. It is 24 minutes past the hour of 11. We'll take this break to give a shout out to our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll continue Voices here on 1FM 98.9. The phone lines are open. You can call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. We'll take this short break, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Open up this at the time of the year. Flow come spread the Christmas cheer. To everybody whether far or near. Flow make a Christmas park around here.
Celebrate Christmas with double data and a free ZTE A5 when you add your mobile to your home internet. Plus, enjoy the best mobile rates on the best network as low as $80 per line for 4 lines.
Christmas have a sparkle, Make it happen with Flow.
Visit discoverflow.co for more details. Conditions apply.
It's raining gifts at TDC Insurance Company this Christmas. Insure this season and get up to 30% off property insurance, up to 60% off motor insurance, and a host of freebies like free windshield cover and free alternative transport. Plus, you get 3 months where your payment is free. Contact us today for a quote. TDC Insurance. It's raining gifts this Christmas. Terms and conditions apply.
Rams, the good food people. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas from Rams. Have a holly jolly Christmas this December when you shop at any of our Rams supermarkets and cash and carry locations in St. Kitts and Nevis. Enter to win an Apple Lions. Win yourself an iPhone 13, Apple iPad, Samsung 50-inch Smart TV, or a Whirlpool washing machine. Celebrate Christmas with Rams, where you're guaranteed better prices, better quality, and better value for you and your family. Happy holidays from Rams, the good food people.
Terms and conditions apply. See in stores for details.
And welcome back to Voices on WINNFM 98.9. It is 27 minutes past the hour of 11, and we're heading back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. You are on Voices.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning.
Good
Calling
morning.
to wish you and all of the listeners at home and abroad a God-filled 2022.
Same to
If we
you.
never needed the Lord before, we sure you need him now. After listening to the CDC thing about nobody must go on cruise when we just took down our fence.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
Very confusing. That's my take on it.
I said disappointing. Some things you can't help, you know. And the airlines are also being afflicted.
Right. There were some flights that were cancelled to even come to St. Kitts.
I'm telling you. So you know we need to go look for God. I mean, some of us looking for help in all kind of direction. I would direct people to 2 Corinthians 7:13 and 14. Now, the issues you were talking about, you know, you mentioned the one with the banks. Well, I was glad that the Bank of Nevis finally made up his mind to come to St. Kitts because I've always said so. They should have been there before. But what is a bit disheartening is that these former colonial banks, now that they have reaped all that they could, pulling out. Royal Bank didn't come yesterday, you know. Neither Barclays.
Right.
So now that they have already squeezed out all of their investment, earned all the profits, they are now abandoning the Caribbean. Not just St. Kitts alone.
Yeah, other Caribbean countries as well.
Yes. You know, there's what they call the other banks. Some of them are afraid to stand up. You know? They don't want to get they're concerned about their own image, because the USA convinced that money laundering goes on down in our area. And so any kind of illicit action, they will take action against the banks, so the banks to protect themselves, pulling out. You don't need to leave us hanging. I mean, the Caribbean leaders have taken their case all to the UN, to the U.S. Embassy, to the U.S., to Senate and whatever members, saying you're almost making it impossible for us to do business. Corresponding banking I'm talking about, eh?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
They make it so hard that while we want the ganja business and we want the ganja business, they're not taking the deposits from money earned legally, you know, legally in the ganja industry. Because, contrary to what some people believe, ganja is still illegal in the USA. So you can't get it across the border. In some states it is legal, but in the whole federal system, it is illegal. And therefore, the banks that have corresponding banking in the USA can't accept the deposit. So they're stymieing our economy. You know, I was a bit concerned for last year, this year, because this is the last day, about the ability of our economy to stay afloat. I don't know. Have you thought about it?
Well, I think just like many other people, they were concerned as well because,
yes,
you know, we depend heavily on tourism, and that was basically shut down.
Yes. I mean, the economy is not tourism alone, you know, when people say that. Because we have, in Nevis, you have a financial,
Yes.
in St. too.
Yes, financial services.
The financial sector, other than the banks. There's the citizenship by investment industry. It's an industry, you know. And that survived. That survived. Survived and saved the day. Because of that industry, the government was able to use the monies to provide safety nets. And I think they did a good job, whether you're on this side or that side. When you compare the size of the country with the fall in the government's income, taxes, fees, fines, and forfeitures, they were down dramatically, but yet the government was able to pay wages to government workers and auxiliary workers and still give some big safety nets. Now, some may say, well, it wasn't enough. Well, there could never be enough for some people, eh? But I was a bit concerned, and I didn't even expect that the government would consider giving double. Well, I said it before. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, we take a lot of things for granted in St. Kitts, you know. We take a lot of things. As much as we hear about me and Martley and whatever, a lot of what was going on in St. Kitts wasn't happening in those larger countries. Unless we don't listen to the news. You know, so I tell my country, and this thing about these, you were talking about the hotel. Now, investment goes where there is the possibility of profits. That's basic. Nobody invests money where they don't expect to get anything. And while they may have, hello?
Mommy?
Yeah,
I'm listening.
excuse me, your wife called you. She said, hold on here for me, hold on. Wife called you, said she tried to get you. You got the soup and everything? All right, call away.
You're putting all your business on the ear, man.
Anyway, let me come back to you. That was my son.
Okay.
When walk with his phone. You hear him? Wife calling him, you know. I can tell him about walk with phone. Anyway, you know, so to expect somebody, just like you might have planned to invest in an enterprise, and COVID come and you look like you're not going anywhere. You're gonna invest in,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe truthful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, I mean,
And the same thing goes for the hotel.
right?
In
Because it would be difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, in 2011, when we had the financial recession, you know, many hotels
2008, you
were
mean?
standing up in St. Kitts, unfinished. A lot of them, they couldn't finish them. They start them, they had to abandon them and everything and stuff like that. And even the same thing about the energy thing in Nevis.
Geothermal.
Geothermal. I told you already. I said, look, as long as the price of petroleum products, gas, is very low, it is not economical to invest in a geothermal. I mean, we got to look at these things in terms of economics. It's the same thing the investor is looking at, you know. The price of oil has gone to negative. That's like giving it away. Overproduction. So who's going to spend money on solar farm and all of that when you could buy gas for nothing? So even though companies and governments plan to undertake certain investment projects, they are not in isolation of the world economy. And I wish sometime maybe when the government ministers trying to explain that they put it in the right context. And if you could get something cheaper over there in Grenada compared to over here, it's going to go and they don't feel any obligation to your country, you know, to our country. They don't. So while we may want to see the project come to fruition, and we blame the government, that's a waste of thought. The government more.
So what do you say? No, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you to some extent. Sorry. What do you say to past negotiations where we have heard of, for example, governments wanting to we're going to bring hotel A, B, C, and D. And of A, B, C, and D, none made it through. And that was a time when we had no COVID. So what is your response to that?
My response now, let us say, sometimes somebody only promise maybe what they should do. I'll tell you something. What they should do somebody promised to do something different to somebody have documents. So you understand me? You understand what I'm saying? Now, I recall years ago, when I used to work, we used to do the capital. I mean, if you know, when you hear the budget, right? You know, they have the current, which is the everyday expenditure, and the capital, where they say they're going to do this project, that project, and the other project. I remember one year, you know, the development bank told them, look, rather than putting all of these wish lists, call them wish lists, right, in the budget, until you are certain that you'll be able to undertake them, leave them out. So maybe sometimes they speak too quickly. You don't think so?
Yeah.
Sometimes they speak too quickly. They may be talking to them and they say, oh, they're trying to encourage them to come. But you know, the politics, because the opposition will say, oh, they bring nothing, and I don't know what they do. And I don't hear them. When no foreign investor come, you want truth or you want error.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes they say what the people want to hear.
Right. Well, caller, thank you. We want to take some more calls before we wrap up, so I'll end this call with you. We'll take this break and we'll be right back. Let's take this break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we continue Voices here on WINNFM 98.9. Stay tuned.
Found the sound 98.9. WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
The year may be coming to an end, but the savings are continuing at all TDC retail stores. Shop on Friday, 31st December and get up to 70% discount on selected items in store. Go to the TDC Automotive Division, TDC Home and Building Depot, and City Drugstore Nevis Limited this Friday for all you need before we say goodbye to 2021. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
But Rams, the good food people. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas from Rams. Have a holly jolly Christmas this December when you shop at any of our Rams supermarkets and cash and carry locations in St. Kitts and Nevis. Enter to win an Apple Lions. Win yourself an iPhone 13, Apple iPad, Samsung 50-inch Smart TV, or a Whirlpool washing machine. Celebrate Christmas with Rams, where you're guaranteed better prices, better quality, and better value for you and your family. Happy holidays from Rams, the good food people.
Terms and conditions apply. See in stores for details.
Open up, this at the time of the year. Flow come for spread the Christmas cheer. To everybody whether far or near. Flow make a Christmas park around here.
Celebrate Christmas with double data and a free ZTE A5 when you add your mobile to your home internet. Plus, enjoy the best mobile rates on the best network as low as $80 per line for 4 lines.
Christmas have a sparkle, you know? Make it happen with Flow.
Visit discoverflow.co for more details. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Voices on WINNFM 98.9. It is 11:42. We're winding down. We'll take this break for the headline news at 12, and we'll continue the second hour right here on Voices. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are open, and we're just giving you, a brief rundown, rundown of 2021. Some of the headlines for 2021, the year that was. And looking forward to 2022. Now, in the political scene, or in the political arena, we saw where the People's Action Movement, PAM, launched Miss Natasha Shani Gray as their candidate for constituency number 1, which is East Bastia. And of course, that came out of the PAM hosting their press conference where other announcements were made. But this was the major announcement where they announced Natasha Gray as their PAM candidate, the candidate for PAM in constituency number 1, East Bastia. And this means that Ms. Gray will be replacing the former candidate Ian Liebert as the candidate for that area. We also saw for the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party where they changed leadership. So Dr. Denzel Douglas is no longer the leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. However, he remains in the National Assembly as leader of the parliamentary opposition. So in the House, he leads the opposition side, but he's not the leader of the party. That is now Dr. Terence Drew. And this, I would say, with regards to the leadership of the Labour Party, I think this is the first time they have seen a process like this. As in the past, it was more so a situation of, passing the baton. Perhaps it was where if John is the leader today and John has a good relationship with that person and that person has, as they say in politics, have been groomed, then they would pass the baton to that person. So I think this is the first time in the history of the party, which is the oldest active political party in the English-speaking Caribbean, this is the first time that they went through a process like this where members of the party, which in this case were dubbed as delegates, were able to cast their vote and vote for a new leader, as well as other members of the executive of the party. And they are moving forward, and they have said that they're going to be readying themselves for the elections that are due not until 2025. With Miss Gray coming on scene, she, of course, will be going up against the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, who is the current MP for St. Christopher 1 in the House. Dr. Hanley is of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. We have a caller on the line, so let us head back to the phone lines. Let's take this call. The caller, good morning. You are on Voices.
Good morning. Mr. Moderator. Mr. Moderator.
Yes, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
You see that trick there ain't gonna work. That trick there ain't gonna work. We tried already.
What?
That trick already.
Sorry, what?
With the Labour Party.
Sorry, what is that? What are you referring to?
The Labour Party with Denzel Douglas stepping down, making Dr. Drew the representative for Labour. That trick ain't gonna work. We started a trick there already.
Mm-hmm.
Some years ago I said it. And somebody called and said that it was wrong.
But what exactly are you referring to? Are you saying that this...
I come into it.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying, that's a trick. Denzel Douglas, no, he weak. And Douglas was saying that the leader of the party not going to win. So, make the change. Make it look like there's a change. It's not a change. Denzel Douglas still going to be leading. Nobody could lead Denzel Douglas. Remember Denzel Douglas war some years ago? They be smarter than me. I mean, we started I said it some years ago, and somebody called and said, it was such nonsense. PAM. William Hubert couldn't win. William Hubert couldn't win an election when William Hubert was the leader of PAM. Dr. William Hubert was the leader of PAM. He couldn't win. And they realized that was a weakness. So what they do? They make Dr. Simmons the leader of PAM. But then when Dr. Simmons wins, when PAM win, Dr. Simmons come premier. No, he was leading. Then what did William Hobart become? The advisor for the country. The advisor for the country advised the Prime Minister. He advised the Prime Minister what to do and what not to do. So he come to lead the whole country. Mm-hmm. So here is Denzil Douglas recognizing now that he cannot win. He cannot win. So move away, step aside, do a boxing feint, make the man miss, step aside, and when the fellow who you put there to be the leader, when he win, when the party win, I come the leader guy, I come the advisor for the government. Mm. So I run the government.
Right. So in other words, you believe that what happened at the party's conference in late November, hold on. Yeah. So you're saying that what happened at the party's conference in November, where Dr. Drew was named leader, you don't think that it is real?
He's not leader. He's not going to lead in the Douglas. He's not going to lead in the Douglas. Douglas going to come here advisor. He can be advising Dr. Joe.
Well,
your advisor advising you. He running business. You ever hear about that advisor? You ever heard the better government on the Llewellyn battle? He had an advisor. And then Douglas prove it when he come lead the party and you had the confusion with him. Douglas said he had on the radio. They be the smarter than me now. They be the smarter than me now. They ain't smarter than me. So what he do? He stepped down, lead of the party, get somebody, and he won the country. William Hobart, again somebody and tell me I was wrong. Dr. William Hobart was running Sinkers Nevis. Dr. William Hobart running Sinkers Nevis. When we had Sinkers Nevis Anguilla, William Hobart is to let Anguilla go. Because you know Anguilla do not want to be parted and you cause confusion.
Right.
So he come the advisor for Sinkers Nevis Anguilla.
Okay. Well, Colin, thank you.
The advisor for Sinkers Nevis Anguilla.
Yes, and thank you so much for your contribution. We want to take some.
Man was the leader of Sinkers Nevis. Thank you.
Right. Yes. We want to take some more calls here on Voices. We have about 9 minutes left until we wrap up the first hour for the headline news. What the caller was saying is that he is of the opinion that where Dr. Drew was named leader in the party's press national conference on November 28th, he says that is not real. As far as we know, Dr. Terence Drew is the leader of the party. And of course, in most cases, when you have a process like that, the former leader would usually serve as an advisor, which, in my opinion, I see nothing wrong with that. But let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, go. Okay, we seem to have lost that call. So, according to what we saw, we're coming out of the party's national conference on November 28th, Dr. Terence Drew was named as the leader, but the caller is of the opinion that he still believes that the former leader would have some say. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. You are on Voices.
Yes, good morning. I support my friend to a certain extent, on Christmas Day, I was listening to hear Dr. Drew gave the Christmas message as a leader of the party. Lo and behold, Dr. Douglas came on and said, I am the leader, the Queen's loyal opposition, right? Parliamentary opposition. Now, if you have a new leader, shouldn't you be giving the leader opportunities?
I think you're missing the point, Miss Henry.
What is the point?
You just said it. Dr. Douglas gave an address as leader of the opposition in the National Assembly.
No. On
Hold on.
On the radio, talking about...
No, hold on. I don't think you understand what I just said. Dr. Douglas, the Christmas message that he gave was in his capacity as leader of the opposition in the National Assembly.
Yes, so where was
So
the,
of the
new leader?
I don't know if Dr. Drew gave his address, but Dr. Drew's address would come as leader of the Labour Party.
Right.
So there's a difference between leader of the opposition in the House and leader of the opposition. Hold on, and leader of the opposition as the party. So if Dr. Drew wants to give an address, Dr. Douglas can't tell Dr. Drew he can't give an address. If Dr. Douglas wants to give an address, Dr. Drew can't tell him that. So Dr. Drew and Dr. Douglas, they both have a right to give their individual address because they hold two different titles.
Yes, I agree with that part, but I'm saying you have a new leader because everything is being done, to undermine Dr. Drew. It goes as far, you heard about the Christmas party situation?
No, I'm not familiar with that. What are you referring to?
The party, as far as I was informed, the party had agreed that they would not keep the Christmas party maybe until the new year. Dr. Douglas, Congress Maynard, and Jeffrey had bought the parties for their constituents, for the children in their constituency. How does that look to the people in all the other constituencies? When it was agreed. So, you see, you got to watch what we say, When the issue about the leadership came up first, he said he was offended and insulted that anybody would dare to come up against him. He said it on the radio, every worldwide heard him. He went on to say it has never been done in the party, a 90-year-old party. Nobody has ever contested against the leader. So, as some of them claim, some other people that say put Dr. Drew to go up against Dr. Douglas to insult him, embarrass him, and humiliate him.
Okay.
So that is how Dr. Douglas took it. And you would have heard, if you're paying attention, going into the party conference, the smear tactics, the embarrassing of Dr. Drew by prominent, staunch party people on the radio, on the radio, everybody heard him about his ability to lead, his forwardness, if you want to call it, the idea. When you have all of these things, and look at it, look at his deputies. I mean, I know you're an intelligent person. So, Dr. Douglas showed favor for Congress, and then he tried to pull in Hanley. I have heard Edinburgh, one of the party's staunchest supporters, talk about Dr. Drew being excluded from events to which Dr. Douglas took Congress and Jeffrey. Photo ops, he was not invited. And so this whole thing is a charade. It is a charade. And I even read some of the things where some of his people are saying, oh, he could be leader, but he can't touch the money. So who is going to face the people who donate the funds, the finances of the party? Will the party still have to depend totally on Dr. Douglas to get campaign financing? These are serious questions, Because if Dr. Drew doesn't have the ability, not the ability, but the access to the party supporters where he himself could have access and control over the party finances, along with, of course, the people who were elected. He's at the mercy of Dr. Douglas. They're not getting him. I'm sure Mr. Parry don't exercise that control over the party. I am sure. I wouldn't expect him to do that. I've never heard his people run a campaign against the young lady who's in the House. his own people. And no attempt was made by Dr. Douglas to stop them. In fact, the people who were so vicious against Dr. Drew were Dr. Douglas supporters. So this whole thing is a facade, a sham. And if I were Dr. Drew, I would have assigned the position of leader of opposition to Jeffrey. Something has to be done for him to understand that the party is not his. And if you want to deceive yourself to think that Dr. Drew is a leader with authority, then go ahead. And the party people tell me if they wise up. Because they're going to get 2 more licking, before they come to their senses. 2. You can't be undermining the leader. And you see, this thing that happened, it happened in clubs, in association. I remember the Football Association for years,
Mm-hmm. We're out of time, so we're going to have to continue this conversation after the headline news. I have been looking at the situation. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I understand what you're saying, and all of what you have said, most of what you've said, have been said by other people within the community, and that is the opinion of many people. But what I'm saying is that coming out of the party's national conference, he was voted for to become the new leader. We know that there will be some controversy over leader of the opposition and leader of the party, 2 different responsibilities. So Dr. Drew is the leader of the party, but he's not a member of the parliament. So he cannot go into parliament and make any presentations. Dr. Douglas remains as the leader of the opposition in the House. I want to continue this conversation with you guys this afternoon. We'll take this break for the headline news. So for those of you who are calling, stay close to your dial. We'll take this break for the headline news, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today's edition of Voices, Devon Cornelius. Stay tuned. We will be right back after the headline news. Don't go anywhere.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
You have the keys to your new car this Christmas? Now it's time to get it insured. Visit Didi Baldwin, agents for Caribbean Alliance Insurance, to save up to 65% off your motor insurance premium. All new clients are eligible for major discounts. Plus, there's lots of sweet prizes to be won. Switch and save and get in on the action. Visit us today in St. Kitts or Nevis, or give us a call at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Promotion ends December 31st and all quotes are valid until January 31st. Drive secure this Christmas with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Terms and conditions apply.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I'm Devon Cornelius.
Making the headlines,
Astro wins third crown.
No extension of the state of emergency for St. Kitts and Nevis. The University of the West Indies Five Islands campus working on a partnership with MIT in the coming year. Internationally, a fierce wind-driven wildfire destroyed hundreds of homes, injured at least a half-dozen people, and prompted the evacuation of tens of thousands of residents in and around two towns east of the Rockies near Denver, authorities said. Now, the details.
Oscar Brown, known in the Calypso arena as the King Astro, is the new senior Calypso King of St. Kitts and Nevis. He won the title for the third time when he defeated 7 other Calypsonians, including the reigning monarch Queenie G. Appearing fifth on stage in both rounds, Astro accumulated a total of 710 points from his winning selections called Resilience and Pay to Live. Astro first won the national title back in 2015 when he became the first Nevisian to capture the crown. He successfully defended that title the following year, 2016, but was defeated in 2017 by Miss Independent, who then became the first female to win the crown. Expectations for a good performance from Astro were high, recognizing that he topped the scorecard during the elimination stages. His victory was by a margin of 12 points, leaving the first runner-up position to the sixth-time crowned former king, Socrates, who amassed 698 points. The second runner-up slot went to Lady Diva, who scored 696 points, or just 2 points less than Socrates, and 14 points less than Astro. The other Calypsonians in the finals were Queenie G, Queen Kibi, Murray, King Hollywood, and Takeover. A special appearance was made by the first national senior Calypso monarch, King Entertainer, who distributed the participation trophies to the finalists. Entertainer won the crown in 1971 and 1972. The show, which was held on Thursday night, December 30th, 2021, at Carnival Village in Bastia, was sponsored by the St. Kitts Nevis Angola National Bank Limited. This was also the final competition for the 50th anniversary of Sugar Mass.
The Federation has recorded the highest daily case count seen here since the start of the pandemic, 81 cases in 24 hours, according to the latest COVID-19 situation report published on Thursday evening, December 30th. Health officials are now monitoring 183 active cases. The report came after the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, announced the start of the fourth wave of transmission of the COVID-19 virus and 2 confirmed cases of Omicron in St. Kitts and Nevis. After the announcements, the questions on people's minds were, would the state of emergency be extended? Would any restrictions come back into effect? St. Kitts and Nevis has been under a state of emergency for the past year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The state of emergency would end at 11:59 p.m. today, December 31st. The Attorney General and Minister responsible for Justice and Legal Affairs, the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr., reminded us of the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill 2020 that was passed successfully in Parliament on November 17, 2020, which replaces the need for a state of emergency related to COVID-19.
When this state of emergency ends tomorrow, it would not be the end of the restrictions, because we would then be covered by an Act of Parliament, the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Act number 16 of 2020.
Under the state of emergency, the Federation saw multiple lockdowns and periods of curfew to restrict movement and the spread of the virus.
We have not had a lockdown for some time, and we hope and pray to God that we don't have to return to that,
said Minister Byron. The last lockdown ended in July of this year, and the curfews ended in November. The Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs said that come January 1st, 2022, the regulations to come into effect would be from the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill and would be no different than the current rules and regulations St. Kitts and Nevis are currently observing. Non-pharmaceutical measures, events with more than 25 people needing permission from the police, Ministry of Health and Fire and Rescue, etc. However, depending on the situation, the state of emergency could return.
When we needed to have a lockdown, we needed to have the state of emergency. And that was effective. When we had that third wave, I think it would have been after May the 19th, we went to a lockdown. And it went a long way to break the cycle. Curfews also helped us to keep us separated, and we needed the state of emergency to have a curfew. If we have to have a widespread outbreak, we will have to consider whether we go and use this tool again. But for now, we believe as we open up, as we manage, that it is not necessary at this time for us to extend the state of emergency,
said the Attorney General during a special broadcast by the National Emergency Operations Center on December 30th. In regional news, the University of the West Indies Five Islands campus working on a partnership with MIT in the coming year. ABS Antigua has the details.
In October this year, Harvard Business School became a major partner of the University of the West Indies Five Islands campus, testament to the prestige of the regional institution. The university's executive has not been resting on its laurels, though, as it is in the course of finalizing yet another partnership with an impressive international university. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, is on UWI's radar, and so says Director of Academic Affairs at Five Islands, Dr. Curtis Charles.
I have a meeting in early February, going to be talking to my alma mater, MIT, about developing some relationship with the new School of Science, Computing and Artificial Intelligence, as well as the Sloan Business School and our business school. Early in those conversations, we have had two conversations so far, and we're going to have a follow-up one coming in February.
According to the QS World University Rankings for 2021, MIT is the #1 ranked university worldwide, higher than Oxford, higher than Stanford, Cambridge, and Harvard. Dr. Charles says this is another step towards ensuring current and graduating students have options to gain knowledge and skills they can better leverage after graduation.
So that's how we build capacity. That's how we give our students multiple paths towards degree completion. Our students could still go to graduate schools anywhere in the region, but we also want to give them the opportunities to expand their horizon and basically learn more and learn a diversity of possibilities and a diversity of subjects and a diversity of learning styles as well.
And as information technology continues to be part of the current thrust of the university, yet another degree will be added to the program offerings within the next academic year.
We have a relationship with business right now, that a program that we expect to offer in the fall, which is very exciting, it is School of Business and Suskai, which is a BS in Data Science, Economics, and Computer Science. It's not a 3 degree, it's an interdisciplinary degree. And that is something that we're excited about, because we're talking about developing a new type of our graduate to be competitive within the region.
For ABS News, I'm Ursil Charles Jr.
We now bring you these international reports.
A fast-spreading wildfire in the state of Colorado has destroyed hundreds of homes and left dozens injured. On Thursday, tens of thousands of people were ordered to evacuate. First for all 13,000 residents in the town of Superior, followed by another 18,000 in neighboring Louisville. According to authorities, the Prairie Grouse Fire, now known as the Marshall Fire, is believed to have been set off by sparks from power lines and transformers, which were toppled by high winds. Fleeing residents were met with thick smoke, which blanketed roads in parts of the region. Radar from the area also showed a huge plume of smoke and ash from the blaze moving across the region. The National Weather Service reported wind gusts of up to 110 miles per hour in Boulder County and warned that the fast-moving fires were creating a, quote, life-threatening situation in Superior and Louisville. Governor Jared Pohl has declared a state of emergency, freeing up disaster funding to support relief efforts in Boulder County and allowing the mobilization of the Colorado National Guard. Authorities have said that so far there have been no reports of missing people or fatalities from the fire.
A change of mission for the remaining U.S. forces in Iraq. Instead of being on frontline combat missions, 2,500 U.S. personnel and 1,000 troops from the international coalition forces have switched to training and advising their Iraqi allies. The transition deal announced earlier this month was sealed in July by Iraq's Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi and U.S. President Joe Biden. It stipulates that U.S. troops would stick to only training Iraqi forces and exchanging intelligence.
Both Iran and the United States supported us in the war against terrorism, but they mustn't use our soil to settle scores. We can't let any of these parties target our people. We have addressed that message to all through diplomacy and the strategic dialogue, which stressed maintaining Iraq's sovereignty.
A gradual downsizing of U.S. troops was already happening on the orders of former President Donald Trump. But a proxy war in the region has been fomented by conflict between Iran and the U.S. Iraq's Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi is facing increasing pressure from armed groups and their political wings which are allied to Iran. They reject any U.S. foothold in Iraq, no matter what their role is. A pro-Iranian armed group sounded this warning.
Any US military presence in the country is considered an occupation. We will go by Article number 51 of the UN Charter, which gives nations the right to resist any military presence on their lands. Therefore, we will take up arms and fight them as we did before.
The conflict has escalated since the killing of Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani and Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, a leader of Iraq's Popular Mobilization Forces, in a U.S. drone attack near Baghdad airport last January. That triggered Iraq's House of Representatives to pass a resolution demanding all foreign troops leave the country. U.S. personnel along with coalition forces used several military bases across Iraq since the U.S.-led invasion in 2003 to depose Saddam Hussein. The foreign forces played a major role in the fight against ISIL, which occupied some parts of Iraq before its defeat in 2017. Now, with the resurgence of ISIL's sleeper cells in some areas, as well as Iranian intervention, the question is whether the Pentagon's mission shift will have an operational impact. Mahmoud Abdul Wahid, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.
Daily cases are skyrocketing and COVID hospitalisations in England are at their highest since February. Alarm bells are ringing that an Omicron surge is about to crash over the already struggling National Health Service.
So if we keep increasing at that rate, of course the pressures are again mounting week on week. And when you've got a workforce, as I've said, that's already absent 50,000 nurses and many more self-isolating, then of course the pressures are building and building and building. So what will it be like in January?
Contingency plans are being put in place to cope if existing hospital capacity becomes overwhelmed, with new temporary wards built to house patients. 8 temporary surge hubs are being built at hospitals around the country, each one with a capacity of 100 beds. More sites are being planned for an extra 4,000 beds if needed. It's hoped that none of this will ever be used, but it's there just in case. London is preparing for New Year's Eve, but with the big fireworks display cancelled for a second year and Omicron keeping people indoors, celebrations will be much reduced. On the continent, new infection records are beaten almost daily. Italy logged 126,000 on Thursday, up from Wednesday's 98,000. Testing centres are becoming overwhelmed and tempers are fraying.
I've been queuing since 9:30 a.m. I'm exhausted. It was madness to book in. It took me 2 days to be able to book in. The only available spots were outside central Rome.
I came here and I spent 5 hours in line. 5 hours.
Greece has brought forward new restrictions which had been planned for early January. New Year's Eve aside, bars, nightclubs and restaurants will be forced to close at midnight with no standing customers and no music. There's dismay in the hospitality sector.
Certainly for us in the restaurant sector, it is a disaster. That's the key word here. But on the other hand, you can't go against the health situation. I can't say I want to stay open and work while people are dying.
Greece, Italy and the UK have all seen record numbers of cases in recent days, and it's likely there are more records to come. Rory Challens, Al Jazeera, London.
You were listening to the Win FM headline news on 98.9. Our top stories were:
Astra wins third crown.
No extension of the state of emergency for St. Kitts and Nevis. The University of the West Indies Five Islands campus working on a partnership with MIT in the coming year. Internationally, a fierce wind-driven wildfire destroyed hundreds of homes, injured at least a half-dozen people, and prompted the evacuation of tens of thousands of residents in and around 2 towns east of the Rockies near Denver, authorities said. Thank you for listening.
That was the Win FM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribou.
You have the keys to your new car this Christmas? Now it's time to get it insured. Visit Deal Baldwin, agents for Caribbean Alliance Insurance, to save up to 65% off your motor insurance premium. All new clients are eligible for major discounts. Plus, there's lots of sweet prizes to be won. Switch and save and get in on the action. Visit us today in St. Kitts or Nevis, or give us a call at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Promotion ends December 31st and all quotes are valid until January 31st. Drive secure this Christmas with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Terms and conditions apply.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name,
A smooth blend with perfect balance and richness. It's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organisation on St Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
It's happening again. By popular demand, we're doing it again. Yep, we're doing it again. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances is once again giving away double cash back for free groceries for the months of September to December. Every customer at the Horseman's Furniture and Appliances showroom in St. Kitts and in Nevis gets double cash back coupons for absolutely free groceries. But it doesn't stop there. Every higher purchase customer will also get a chance to win. Yep, get double cash back for free groceries and a chance to win absolutely free groceries for a year with every $100 spent on higher purchase. By popular demand, we're doing it again. Double cash back for free groceries, plus a chance to win free groceries for a year. Come to Horseman's Furniture and Appliances today and expect low prices, expect great quality, expect free delivery, expect double cash back for free groceries, expect a chance to win free groceries for a year, expect the extraordinary terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Voices on Win FM 98.9. It is 26 minutes past the hour of 12 here in our studios, and you're listening to Voices. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. The phone lines are ringing off the hook. I have about 2 people who are trying to get in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Win FM 98.9. The numbers are 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. Let us head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You are on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm very disappointed in this earliest day Win FM discussion today.
Mm-hmm. Why so?
I promise to keep the politics at bay because it is no earliest day, it's our season. But when I listen to Sylvain Henry today, my heart is bleeding and hunks, especially Sylvain.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister just passed away, let her soul rest in peace. You expect, because I said the last show they had on Win FM, freedom. Let us keep the politics abreast and enjoy the Christmas. And furthermore, her sister passed and it was also touching to me. So I send sympathy and, let us finish with the politics for now. But I listen to Sylvian today on the radio. After a week, her sister passed. I guess she has no respect for nothing and nothing at all. Why the bombardment? Why the politics? These are the same people telling you you're always talking politics. Now you expect Sylvian today. Our focus with the Christmas, the earliest day, the young DJ was passed away in McKnight. That's what the youngster passed away in the village, maybe about a week ago. Right? Because Sylvian like to talk about village. And now we had a youngster this morning in McKnight, the famous DJ, passed away.
Mm-hmm.
We expect Sylvian today should come on the radio and we're speaking about young people passing away and how the country today is rather in mourning for two young people.
Well, I don't want to cut you off, but just before you continue, what we were doing today is a recap of things that made the headlines for the year. And one of the headlines was the change in leadership.
You're right. But sometimes, you could afford, I said to you, a young man just dropped dead this morning. The man who lived there said he do everything. So the community, the village is in mourning. So sometimes you could say, hi, yes, we were capping, but I just tell you this, the last thing I said on the radio of freedom, let us leave the politics. I was the first person to send sympathy. But when you listen to it again, why the bash to Labour? Dr. Joe, this people vote for you already. Sylvian have issues in the PAM. Michael Powell, if you don't know, youngster, who is the advisor today, let us start, was kicked out of the People's Action Movement like a dog. And up to now, Sylvian can't come tell us why. You might not be old enough to know that. Kicked out. He is now today, we advise our country, making big money again. Powell must be almost 90. They have not tell us why he was kicked out of PAM. But today, Sylvian will discuss that. A woman, 80, the cabinet secretary should be, making big money when young people on the street can't get a job. Let's discuss. Since you want to talk about Labour, let's talk about unity now. Lindsey Grant and John L. Powell, who misappropriate a man money, who the government do everything in the power to make sure that the police was removed so you don't investigate the case. We're not talking about that. You say you will cap in. A man who raped a 15-year-old girl in the village. And up to now, the police doing everything in the power. This is a part of your recap because I have no up in the air. I'm speaking about it all year round. The police, I said, do everything in the power to make sure this thing shut down. Delete the mother phone. Nobody take away the fella phone. What we talking about, Jew? These are the problems? Labour is a problem today? You answer me, my brother. We got to stop play. Sylvian them got to stop Bishop vicious and wicked. We have issue within this present government. Why is affecting people bad? You pay a double salary. But how much people in government ain't taking a vaccine? We got to double pay. That is fear, my brother. This is ton of people for not taking a vaccine. Because Timothy said, this is where we have to go. But he ain't tell the private sector, this is where they got to go. They got to take the vaccine. We had a long state of emergency to shut us down. We had an election and shut us down. Sylvian ain't talk about that. But we country do a throwback. Now we got the whatever you call the thing here. How the airport maintenance man them get COVID? Who bring it here? Who give the man the airport COVID? You tell me, Sylvian ain't talk about that. But we're focusing on Dr. Drew and Douglas. Sylvian, they're not your problem. They're not your problem. Douglas is not your problem, lady. You never talk about Simmons and the evil Simmons do in this country. You never tell us about the hydrophile Warren missing. We wake up a morning, two boat gone missing. Where's the money? You're not talking about this, Sylvian. You're not talking about the money that Douglas was be asking for the campaign fund. You're not talking about London. This is the leader who diverting to go to England every time. Oh, you every day you want to come talk about Labour. You want hunks, Labour. Labour have done what they have to do. And if we want Douglas, we want Drew, whoever we want, it's our business, Sylvian. Why are you taking up with business and your business is nasty in this country? Look at Patches Library. Breach international airport security rules. We're not talking about that. Who was selling concrete to themselves and not billing the pier? We got to take up $2 million now today and say we're going to judge something that is brand new. What about the Boston High School, Mr. Cornelius? Where's Carleen Morton working in the tourism? Where's Lindy Grant? Having another case he just opened up. And his son got a bar right next door. While poor people suffering. This is what we need to be discussing. We come in talking about Dr. Drew and Douglas this and Congress this. Sylvan is our business, our problem. You need to sort out the country problem. Dr. Drew is not in government. You got to stop Mr. Vicious. How much money we pay again? How much money gone up? Nothing wrong with that. We want the crime to stop. How much money I get, Sylvan? Have you 30-something years, 20, all them 60 workers in TDC. We kill somebody, we rob somebody, Sylvan. There's murders. Some of them is mother, grandmother, fathers. You don't care. But you come here today, and it's good day, going into New Year's, chatting a bunch of foolishness. Sylvan, please, come on. You're supposed to be mourning. When you going to stop? When? We got to stop bash the country, bash one another. The politicians all about themselves. So we must be standing on the right or wrong. And what is right and what is wrong. Not because we love a party. That is our problem. That's why the country in a mess. Because Labour do something wrong and we fail to say. You need to do something wrong, we fail to say. And it's people like you still being in the country so because you know better. Mr. Cornelius, you know about me the other day. Take a drive when you finish work. By NHC. The deception of these people. NHC is 25 years. When you look at the banner, all unity politician on the banner. This is the kind of foolishness we need to be talking about. And if the NHC is 25 years, put where you start, put up your also unity pictures, and you must also say, we're going to make this NHC thing better. But Mr. Cornelius, how you put up a picture alone with all the unity politicians? If we don't have to make, when you're working on 25 years, they're going to just put up your picture and all the workers with you now? Tell me, Mr. Cornelius.
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Exactly. You must let it show where the foundation come from, the backers, the who was there before, and all the other hosts before you. But guess what? You're going to put up Mr. Cornelius' picture, the other person, so mind you, telling the world it's 25 years, but you ain't got the picture of the other people. And we're accepting these kind of stupidness from the politicians. And Sylvan is afraid to talk about these things. But Sylvan, you need to stop. You say you're a Christian. Continue to doing what you're doing. Pray. Stop it. Your sister just passed. Let us all mourn. Let us all be in grievance. We had a young son that said to you, pass to them, my brother. The whole nation is talking about could him do his show properly today. Talking about, come on, just like you to them, brother. To do his normal day show. And she go say, boy, I cannot do this show like I normally do. I'm shocked. I'm in shock. The youngster from in the village, she like to talk about village. She not saying nothing about that. But today we come on to be bashing Dr. Drew and Douglas. We ain't even finished yet. But I think you need to, sometimes about our course, we need to start to put these people in the colony and check and in the right position. We got to stop making everything look like bad.
Right, we call
it. Not wicked.
Yeah.
Because Sylvie number 1967, she was old enough.
Yeah.
So we never discussed that. Right. Michael Oliver Powell car was full of guns. They can't say nothing about that.
Right, we'll call it. Thank you. We want to take some more.
Have a good day.
Yeah, we want to take some more calls here on Voices. It is 12:36 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9, and you're listening to Voices. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You are on Voices.
Thank you for taking my call. I wanted to stay in the spirit of what you were, you said that the program will be about today in going over things that happened during the year, highlighting things. First up, I want to say congratulations, Kirsten Nevis, for winning CPL. I think that's tremendous that we hosted CPL successfully and won. That's huge. Little St. Kitts and Nevis beating Jamaica, beating Trinidad and Tobago, beating Barbados, St. Lucia, and all of them. I also want to say that our carnival had been one of the best that I've seen. I mean, the production and that carnival cheerleader. Oh my God, what talent! Awesome, awesome talent coming out of us, our very own. You know, I mean, just looking at this stage, you know, that's brilliant. I mean, and just how it's done, just awesomeness. We have a lot to celebrate about. And then recently, Minister Grant was announced in the Tourism magazine as the most, the Tourism Minister of the Year. For the successes that he has brought. And everybody feel the success of Minister Grant and what he's done for our country. So when you see money given out here and there, and people are able to get help for different things to start their businesses and so on, a lot of it coming from the tourism money, and now we're back with a bang, and that is awesome. Congratulations, Minister Grant, doing that for our country. And then we have the over 80% vaccination. I think that's a step in the right direction, at least a first dose of vaccination. That's awesome. And I have to also say congratulations to Dr. Ju for beating out really 3 candidates. One that was an elected person, and he not being elected was able to beat all other 2. It shows that, some level of respect that the people in the Labour Party has for him. And I have to also say that Dr. Douglas, having served for so long, he deserves some kudos too. I truly respect Dr. Douglas for the way that he reached out to all constituencies, everybody, St. Kitts and Nevis, and that is to be commended. And I wanted to point out that for the hard-working young people, there's so many people in St. Kitts and Nevis with talent. If you talk about people who can make clothes, excellent, excellent. People who can cook, excellent, excellent. In fact, there was this Caribbean guy from Dominica. He said 2 places in the Caribbean where the best people can cook really good. He said Jamaica and St. Kitts and Nevis. So we have talent. We have talent all around. And I truly enjoy the what is happening in the market. That I've spoken about that a long time. That the market can be fixed up. I've been saying that. I'm just glad to see that they have a Christmas night market and so on, and things can progress on that side of the Bay Road. There's still more work to be done. I'm still advocating for that.
Right.
But let's celebrate, because we have so much to celebrate for and so much to which to look forward for in 2022.
Right.
Thank you so much for bringing me this chance. Bye-bye.
You're most welcome, and thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We're continuing Voices here on WINN FM 98.9. And just to provide some more context with regards to the vaccination rate. So for the adult population, for the first dose, it is 81.3%. And for the second dose, it is 75.8%. But when you add children and adults, the total population for vaccination is actually only 54.4%. And this is according to the chief medical officer when she spoke at the emergency COVID press briefing on yesterday, Thursday, actually. So the total population for fully vaccinated is at 54.4%. But for the adult population, it is 81.3 for the first dose, and the second dose is 75.8%. Let's head back to the phone lines quickly. Caller, good. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. The phone lines are still open, and we're taking your calls here on Voices. We're doing a recap of 2021, and of course, remember, I can't remember everything that happened in 2021. If you have something you want to put on the something you want to share with us, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do so. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I would not have allowed 2021 to pass by without me making a contribution on the last day of the year. Why? Because it was such a challenging year to so many of us in the way one will interpret it. If they were into economics, they had a small or large business. That was a challenge, and other things. But for me, I heard you earlier, and for me, of course, the COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, was the predominant issue of 2021. And let's hope going forward we can put it aside, even though what emanated from the news, the 12 o'clock news, it seems like it's going to carry over into 2022 in terms of cases, rising cases here and further afield. So, I just wish to weigh in on one or two things we put out there and make my contributions as I have already been doing throughout the course of the year, and intend to do so further in the forthcoming 2022. But I had a thought on the spirit of Christmas and the like. Well, for the Gregorian calendar, we know most of the Western world, Christendom in the West, celebrated Christmas on the 25th of December. But we celebrate Christmas observing another calendar. As a member of the Ethiopian Orthodox Theohida Church, we celebrate Christmas on the 7th of January. So I'm not late in terms of making my contribution in terms of Christmas and how wise men or other persons found out about the birth of the coming Messiah. So hopefully if your program, continue, January, I might, depending on what day it falls on, I may make a contribution in terms of what the spirit, the season, what we call Christmas, means to me.
Right.
But that's enough for now. I just wish everyone all the best that left of the 2021 and all the best health, strength, longevity in 2022.
Right.
Especially those who have made the contribution via the radio. We all make our contribution, whether we call in or not, because your listenership is much more than your callership. So I wish all persons all the best. I have gotten some good feedback as I traverse last year as to what my contribution had been, and the person challenged me that I should really go a little deeper into clarifying certain things that I might bring to the fore and then not quite understand what I might have meant. So I want to really do that.
And thank you so much. And thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, caller, for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices on WINNFM 98.9. It is 12:47, and we are winding down. Of course, we're going to end this program at 1:30. The phone lines are still open, so you can call us at 466-0989, 762-0989, and 662-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, sir, and greetings to you in Jesus' name and in his precious shed blood. Now, what I'm calling to say, I just want to remind people is that, well, we are now in the 12 days of Christmas. So I think Christmas really officially ends January the 6th. We are still in the Christmas season because we're in the 12 days of Christmas. And I just want to let people know that this time period is the period where much thought and focus ought to be on the fact that Jesus Christ, he came to seek and to save that which was lost. He came to save his elect, his chosen ones, from out of their sins, from going to hell, to be with him for all eternity in his kingdom, in his most blessed eternal kingdom. If he didn't born, he could not have died. So you have the birth of Christ in December, the celebration, and you have the death of Christ during Easter time. And there is no Easter without the birth of Christ. And the birth of Christ is Jesus Christ condescending from heaven to us here on earth to save his chosen ones, his elect ones, from their sins and from an eternal hell. And all who put their faith in him and believe in his name and call upon his name in faith will be saved by his precious blood from hell to be with, and from their sin to be with him for all eternity in heaven. That's the first thing I would like to say. Concerning the Omicron that is much talked about, it is true that it is more infectious, and it is a lot more infectious than the Delta, for example, and the original last year and that sort of stuff. But at the same time, it is based upon the stats and that sort of stuff that coming from out of South Africa, UK, the UK, and so on. It is less deadly. More infectious, yes, as when viruses and so on mutate. So a lot of them, they could become more infectious. But as far as the deadliness is concerned, it is less deadly. And not only that, there are even those who are calling Omicron a Christmas present in the sense that because it is mild and less deadly, even though more infectious, when you get over it a whole lot quickly. Your chances of surviving is even much more. I mean, it was a lot with the other variants, but it is even much more now with the Omicron when you get it. And when you get it and you overcome it, it gives you a strong natural immunity against COVID, period. An immunity that is no less than the immunity that is said to be given to you by the vaccines. As a matter of fact, many even argue that that overcoming COVID gives you an even stronger immunity, as many would argue. So that is in the sense why Omicron is called a Christmas present, in that that it could end. It could go a very long way in defeating COVID if people get it and overcome it and build up a very strong immune against COVID in general. So that's the second thing. But I would just want to end off by saying again, Christmas, which the season we are still in, because we're in the 12 days of Christmas, this is the time when we should focus on why Jesus came, to seek and to save his elect, his chosen ones, from their sins, from hell, to be with him for all eternity. Thank you very much for your time.
Right, and thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to this program. We'll take this break to give a shout out to our sponsors. When we come back, we'll continue Voices here on WINNFM 98.9. When we come back, we're going to be looking at some of the headlines that made the rounds for the year 2021. St. Kitts and Nevis government launches investigation on Hush Puppy, seizes his passport. Of course, we heard that investigations are continuing into this matter, but no update has been received since around October. When we come back, we'll have a conversation on this and other pressing matters. Of course, the phone lines are open. You can call and bring up a story, a headline that you think was prominent in 2021, and let's have a discussion on that. Let's take this short break and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Paint it, style it, improve it. Your walls, paint it. Your rooms, style it. Your home, improve it with huge savings at the Hoxford's Building and Nevis Center's Paint It, Style It, Improve It sales event. Come to Hoxford's Building and Nevis Center now and get savings of 25% off all paints, plus deals and discounts store-wide on home improvement items.
Paint it with 25% off all paints. Style it and improve it with other deals and discounts store-wide.
It's your home, so paint it, style it, and improve it at the Hoxford's Building and Nevis Center Paint It, Style It, Improve It sales event. 25% off all paints and more. Come now, save big, and simply paint it, style it, and improve it. Event starts now and ends December 31st, 2021. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
I want it all.
Welcome back to Voices on WINNFM 98.9. It is just a few minutes, about 7 minutes before the hour of 1 here in our studios of WINNFM 98.9. And I'm your host for today's edition of Voices, Devon Cornelius. Again, I want to wish you a very happy new year when it comes. And I wish you and your family the very best for 2022. New opportunities, new beginnings, a new sense of hope and possibilities for 2022. I nearly said 2020. Maybe that's an indication that 2022 will be all about you and your family. Of course, all of us are hoping for good times. You're hoping for good health and strength. And as the caller mentioned, there were some untimely deaths and passing of some young people throughout St. Kitts and Nevis. I just want to use this opportunity to express my sincerest condolences to the family and friends of those who lost loved ones. I know how it feels to lose a relative, and so on behalf of all of us here at WINNFM, please accept our deepest condolences and sympathies on the loss of your loved one. I trust that you enjoyed the holidays that you had, and of course there's another weekend coming up. Tomorrow is 2022, January 1st, and of course I think Monday as well. Yes, Monday is a public holiday, so you have a long weekend to relax and spend time with family and friends. Let's head back to the phone lines. We have a caller on the line. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Greetings, thanks for accepting our call. We called to add to...
Wait, hold on, caller. Please turn off the radio. There's a lot of feedback.
That's next. Let me Okay, we are with you again.
Yes, go ahead.
Do forgive. Okay, we just want to add our voice to a condolence that is being forwarded to families, loved ones, friends, God, who have once passed in their family. That is not a pleasant thing.
Yeah, you caller, you're gonna have to speak up a bit because I'm struggling to hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
I said that is not a pleasant thing at all, and you know the hurt that ones and ones know when loved ones passed, transition, and we implore one another to live for who passed, who transitioned, live for the ones and ones who passed, keep them alive in heart, mind, soul. But that is really an illusion. In time, this thing will be no more, because we were created to be immortal, just like the Creator. Whatever invites death into human life, we have to rid ourselves of it. That is the common enemy of mankind, death. Thanks very much for allowing us to do so. Blessed love.
And caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 3 minutes before the hour of 1, and we are still taking calls here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. So just before we went for a break, as I said, we're going through some of the headlines for 2021, and here, Sinkers and Nevis launched an investigation into the Hush Puppy scandal, and the government of Sinkers and Nevis seized his passport. Of course, here at WINNFM, we have continued to ask the very important and relevant questions as it relates to this investigation, the status of the investigation, and how the police is progressing with this. The last update that was given was at a press conference hosted by the Prime Minister in October, I believe it was October, yes, of this year, where the Commissioner of Police said that investigations are continuing. We know that the case is very it's a very delicate case, and you can't really reveal too much details. But all we have been told by the police for the past year is that investigations are continuing. Outside of the fact that they seized his passport, and the matter of the revocation of his citizenship is before the office of the Attorney General. So we're hoping for the new year to receive some updates on this, and to hear what the outcome of this case would be. Of course, this made the headlines all across Sinkers and Nevis, across the Caribbean region, and of course internationally. Questions were raised as to why was this possible, and what can be done to prevent future happenings or things like these. But for the new year, we're hoping to hear an update on this. The phone lines are open. You can call us. Remember, it's an opportunity for you to highlight something that you think was big and sparked your interest for 2021. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Cornelius, yeah, caller called in and wanted to tell me and tell Mrs. Henry what to say. You call me on the program, say what you know. Don't call me to tell people what to say and what they shouldn't say. I mean, come on. Mr. Cornelius, I used to box. And if I get started talking about boxing now, I will never stop. I entered the boxing ring 77 times. 77 times I entered the boxing ring. Around the Caribbean and South America. So if we can talk boxing, we can talk for about 10 years. So I hear caller calling and calling my name, telling me why I should say and why I shouldn't say. Miss Henry, what she should say and what she shouldn't say. Let him say what he know. Stop calling and say what people should say and what they shouldn't say. I mean, sometimes get me so angry, yeah? Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
And thank you, caller, so much for your contribution. I don't think he called your name. He did say Miss Sylvine, Miss Henry, but I don't think he mentioned your name. And just like he did, he called and he gave his opinion, his sentiment. You too can do that. You call and you give your contribution, and that is exactly what it is. But of course, the caller previously would give his, and you would give yours. That is what this is about. We're doing a recap of 2021, and I am presenting some of the headlines that I think stood out, and of course, I am giving you the opportunity to do just that. Something that you think stood out, and something that whether it is a good or bad, it doesn't really matter. Just looking at 2021, it's in its entirety. We have just about 28 minutes left before we end today's edition of Voices. The phone lines are still open, and you can call us to be part of the conversation. If you're just tuning in, we're having a conversation on, a recap of 2021 and looking at some of the stories and headlines that made the rounds throughout the internet and social media and across the communities in St. Kitts and Nevis, across the region. The phone lines are ringing. Let us head back to the phone lines. Let's take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Good afternoon again, Devon. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks. And you?
Man, I hear giving God thanks, It wasn't nice seeing Brother Greg, because I was wondering what happened to him. Greg, Greg, nice hearing you. And you have a point, Because some people say, I don't celebrate Christmas. Well, if he didn't born, he wouldn't die. Now, thanks for all those who send their condolences to me and my family and my relatives on the passing of my sister. Now, my sister was a Christian, right? And according to my Bible, you say you don't mourn for people who know God as though you have no hope. Of course, you can have your, but you don't walk around with your long face and you're bawling as if they're gone to hell. I don't subscribe to that. If I know you're not a Christian, I take it harder, my sister, that was a shock to me, I didn't expect it. It took me over a week to get over the shock. But I'm not going to stay in that emotional state. So for my good villager, I still mourn the loss of my sister. She has left a void in my life. And of course, every morning, I think I said it on the radio before, she used to call me every morning to see how I was doing, and I would call her back and during the day, So, I feel free to continue. My sister would have wanted me to continue. Now, let me get to education. When you look back this year in terms of our education and the ability of our children to have face-to-face learning is an accomplishment. Have you thought about it?
Have I thought about how they
Yes, our students were able to have face-to-face.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
Yes,
okay.
When you listen to all the other countries, some children have not have had face-to-face for over a year. And so I must commend the teachers who had to teach both online and face-to-face. And all of the education workers, those who work in the schools, the school meals. Because, we spoke about the emotional effect on the children and whatnot. And even I listened to a thing about Jamaica. We were talking about the number of fourth form students who never came back. The dropout rate. And then they went and did their CXC. But I'm still waiting to hear the full report. Was it given? Did I miss it?
Sorry. I haven't heard the full report either. I haven't heard the full report either.
No, I heard they said they were waiting on some preliminary.
Yeah, well, that's perhaps
that
still
was
in the
marked or something.
It's still perhaps in the
But
waiting.
I'm still waiting. I heard, but they have named the student, the top student.
No.
I think I heard some names calling.
No, I can't recall. I stand to be corrected. But I can't recall. I'm sorry.
Those who did Cape. But I must still commend the children, because our children keep doing very well. And my heart goes out to the other students who have to be doing it, and some of them had to put off the examination till January, And And we take a lot of things for granted in this country, and I keep saying it. We take too many things for granted. Too many things. We take people for granted. We only pay attention to people who are in our sphere, you know. So, I am still waiting, Mr. Minister of Education. I want to hear who get the Island Scholarship. I thought I heard something about the Navy students. You sure you didn't hear?
I honestly did not. I don't know if the announcement was made or it missed me, but I'd have to do some checking to make sure. But as I said, I stand to be corrected.
Yes,
I don't think
about some students
any announcement was made.
Play some kind of something in the CARICOM, something in the CXC. You know, so but I want to commend the students too and the parents too. Because, you see, sometimes we allow little obstacles to set us back.
Mm-hmm. But quickly, caller, we have some callers on the line.
I
so
want them to call. They calling?
Thank you so much. We seem to have lost that caller. So
again, I want to wish all of us a God-filled 2022, and Brother Greg, continue to give them the message.
Thank you, caller, so much for your contribution. It is 9 minutes past the hour of 1. We're winding down. We'll end this program at 1:30. And again, Happy New Year to you and your family. We're doing a recap of 2021. Let us head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Yes, Mr. Cornelius. Yes, I'm calling again to say that coming out of 2021, with all the experiences coming out of 2021, we should learn, we all should learn from the Bible that without Jesus Christ, without turning to Him, without getting right with Him, we will all fail and be doomed. As a nation, as families, as businesses, as churches, as individuals, you name it. We all will be doomed and destroyed without Jesus Christ. We want our nation to go forward. We want our families, society, etc. to go forward. Well, there is no going forward outside of Jesus Christ and not obeying His word. We have to be obedient to His word. We have to place our faith in Jesus Christ as the starting point for our society to go forward, because the Bible tells us how government ought to operate, how businesses ought to operate, the family, individuals, churches, etc., how we all ought to operate. And if we don't do that, we are only bringing the destruction of Jesus Christ and His curses and judgment upon us as a society, which we are doing and which we need to repent of and start to obey His word in order to turn around our situation from His wrath and judgment to His blessings, which we need in our lives, in our society, and in our country. So we all ought to learn this going out of 2021 into 2022, that we need to look to Jesus Christ in His word and start to obey His word and repent and get right with Him on every level of our society, individually and collectively, as a nation, family, business, churches, etc.,
Yes,
which is our only way going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller, for your contribution to this program. We're winding down, and we're going to go through some more headlines that I have here with me. Of course, if you have any headline, any thing that you think I may have missed, and you want to bring it to the fore, the phone lines are open, and you can call us at 466-0989, 662-0989, and 762-0989. That's 466-0989. Okay, before I continue, let's head back to the phone lines and take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You are on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon, and all the best for the new year.
Yes, and same to you and everybody else. I'll try to keep in the confines you set for the program today. I won't refer to specific events as such or headlines, but I will speak in general terms.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's a lot that has happened in the year, during the year. Some good, some not so good, some very bad. And as usual, what was good and what was bad is unfortunately colored by where you fall in the partisan politics scheme of things. Somehow we have to get it into our heads that what's right and what's wrong does not depend on who is doing it and when it is done. I think we've lost that sense of judgment, good judgment, that sense of justice and what is decent, what is proper, how we should interact with each other, and how we should hold each other accountable. And also what is the best way that we should support each other going forward. For, we seem to be losing something of what used to be the great ethos of the Kittishan and the vision, right? And it's changing into what I see as a selfish dog-eat-dog kind of relationship that does not bode well for the country. I would characterize the year as one of uncertainty. It began uncertain, and it is ending that way as well. I think that's driven mostly by the uncertainty of COVID. But even in the face of COVID, we should have been doing things that we said we would do to make our country okay, now and in the future. One of the things that we said we would do is engage in a transformation of the economy, diversification, okay, to new and better ways of doing things, okay, because it seems that the old ways are not going to suffice for the future, right? And it seems that the leadership is just in a mode of hoping things return to the way they were pre-COVID. And I think that's the wrong mindset to adopt. If the country as a whole follows that mindset, I don't think we're going to advance very far, right? And I'm afraid that the uncertainty that I speak about will just continue, and certainly until we start doing things better, right? There's too much unfinished businesses, or unfinished business from last year, and too little planning and execution for the future. Okay, you can just go through. I know you have attended a number of press conferences, etc. You've heard a number of the usual utterances from the press conferences and
basically the same thing again.
Yeah, the propaganda pieces, the leadership matters, the working for you, all those things. Okay, and if you go through them, you'd realize there's a lot of repetition, and secondly, there are a lot of things which are just kicked down the road. It's like kicking a can down the road. You'll deal with it another time. And I don't think that is the way to go. All right? I think we need better leadership who will galvanize the country towards a common purpose, right? I'm just not feeling that we have that the country is unified towards a common purpose. We just seem to be like a feather in the wind with no direction. Okay, that's going to lead us nowhere. All right, and so what I want to see is a unified, enterprising country. Right, I see more a case of dependency and ad hoc fixing of things, deal with putting out fires as they come up, stick your finger in the air, and depending on which way the wind blows, you go that direction. That's not leadership. It's not a good place to be. It's not going to get us anywhere. Okay? And so I hope we'll address the long list of unfinished business and find the correct path going forward. Okay? I think we often talk about the all-of-society approach. Well, it's time we practice that, right? You get the impression sometimes that it's, all of part of the society approach rather than all of society approach. And I really wish at this point we'd be more inclusive. We should have reassessed our reaction to COVID, because we've done some things which, in looking back, I really don't think we should have done. Okay? People have been fired from the job, for instance, for not being vaccinated. Other people, as was pointed out, as being rewarded even though they were not vaccinated. These kinds of inconsistencies, they really need to stop. And so this is a good time at the end of the year to reassess our responses to COVID and adjust accordingly. All right, so that in the new year we can have more direction, better leadership, a better way of doing things going forward that we can all be proud of. That's my intervention.
And thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to this program. We're winding down. It is 18 minutes past the hour, and we'll take this short break to give a shout out to our sponsors. When we come back, we continue Voices here on 1FM 98.9. We're just doing a recap of 2021. I'm giving you some of the headlines that I have here with me. And of course, I am giving you the opportunity to call in and share with me some of your expectations for 2022 and some of the developments in 2021. Let's take this short break and we will be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
It's that time again. Triple Cashback is back, but with more. Triple your cashback with Triple Play. Triple the savings, triple the cashback, and get a chance to win. Triple the cashback for more free groceries at Horsewood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store today. Yes, for the rest of 2021, Horsewood's Furniture and Appliances is tripling your savings with triple cashback coupons for even more free groceries for all FlexPay hire purchase customers. But that's not all. Every hire purchase customer gets a chance to win up to triple their triple cashback in free groceries in the Triple Play. The Triple Play game show gives 2 lucky customers a chance to triple their triple cashback for free groceries and win lots and lots of prizes and more. If you get $500 in coupons for free groceries, you get a chance to get up to triple that amount with our Triple Play game show promotion. That means you get $1,500 in coupons for free groceries. And remember, every hire purchase customer gets a chance to win free groceries for a year. Horsewood's Triple Cashback Triple Play. Come now, don't miss it.
Welcome back to Voices on WinFM 98.9. Let's head right back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Feninas. We have another question. We had for the Calypso show. You remember they were saying that some of the Calypso have to be vaxxed?
Wait, caller, there's some feedback in the background. You have to turn off the radio.
Yeah, you could hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I was asking the Carnival Committee said the Calypsonians have to be vaxxed. So I'm asking the question is, do you know if all the Calypsonians are vaxxed or some of them present a letter?
I don't know. I don't know their individual vaccination status.
Okay, well, because we need to know. The nation needs to know. Because it's a national event. And I must know. Because if someone took a letter, why the companies was not accepting letters from with the staff who was sent home?
When you say letter, you mean a letter for a medical reason?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That was not, a matter of fact, they were saying that they give them the letter and the letter was going to dear doctor. So I want to know if the Calypso and them who's not vaxxed went through the same process. Because remember, this is the government event. The government responsible for the vaccine. Timothy said this is where we have to go. And he encouraged TDC and all of them to force people to take the vaccine. So, if that's how we're going to go, we need to know if the Calypso and them had to present a letter who do not vax, and why the letter was accepted. But TDC and some of these big companies was not accepting letters from us. Because we let her to go to their doctor. So you see, partner, these are the things people need to address in the country. The injustice, what it's doing to some and not some. These are the issues because look what we're saying here. And you know, we're not going to get away in this country. Who is the acting governor in the country? You know who's Mr. Cornelius?
The acting governor?
Yes.
No,
Who is the acting governor?
I don't know.
When the original original governor is not there.
You mean
Sorry,
Michael?
The deputy governor.
Yeah, Michael Morton.
Okay. Who Michael Morton used to work for?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't
He
know.
was the chairman for TDC. So you understand what I'm going, my brother?
I'm listening.
Michael Morton, remember Timothy said live, this is where you got to go. The private sector have to make sure that the staff is vaxxed. And then when you go in a meeting, the same former deputy governor, going to say, hush up, sit down. So who are you acting on behalf of? Is that the same government? Big man, these things need to stop in the country for 2022 because people paying attention. People are paying attention. The man is the deputy governor. I sure he's still a shareholder in TBC. That's why they could tell us in the meeting, we must take the vaccine for the shareholders. Take it for the shareholders. The company has to make money. What do you think you mean? Brother, for 2022, these people need to change the course. Stop playing with the citizens of this country. These are the issues Sylvian and them need to be talking about. The future of tomorrow, the young children, them. Should they be living in this kind of condition? And let me ask you a question, Mr. Cornelius. If a white man in South Africa decides he's not hiring blacks in his own personal business, is he racist? Hello?
I would say no.
Okay. Oh, because you see, in St. Kitts, but we would have said racist. Because he's saying hiring blacks in the private business. But in St. Kitts, I listen to Big Stone saying, oh, TDC is a private company. They could hire who they want and who they want in the place. But when the white man in South Africa say, hey, I want the black people in the place to buy or to work, we jump to say he racist. People pay attention. So much of wicked and heartless people in this little 68 square mile. And it starts with the people at the top. You have a good day.
And you have a good day as well. Thank you so much for your contribution. We have just 5 minutes left, and so we'll take one final call on today's edition of Voices. We're doing a recap of 2021. We'll take this last call right now. Caller, good afternoon. You are our last caller.
Hello.
Hello, caller, good afternoon. You are our last caller.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. And what about you?
Yeah, I'm doing excellent, and we'd like to wish you, first of all, and your family the very best for the rest of 2021 and all the best for 2022.
Same to you.
You started this with this station. Was it this year or last year?
2020, last year.
Oh, last year. Okay, so at least you would have seen a Christmas on the station. Okay, but you would have done an excellent job, and I would want you to continue still growing in your, media profession, and, everyone will just continue. Even if you're on a job for 30 years, that don't mean that you will stop learning. You still continue to learn. So you just got to continue to. But you have done an excellent job, and which just want to encourage you to continue. But I just want to say that Michael Morton is not the governor, deputy governor for St. Kitts and Nevis.
He's not the...
He is not the deputy governor.
He's the governor's deputy.
General. It's just like it's just like the governor. The governor, we are independent nation, so he's a governor general.
So okay. So let's do some clarification. The governor general is Sir Tapley Seaton, and Mr. Morton is his deputy. Then in Nevis you have the deputy governor general. That's the official title that.
No. In Nevis is deputy governor.
Deputy governor general.
No, the deputy governor.
No. It is deputy governor general in Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
That is Hailita Liebert.
Right.
And for St. Kitts, it is governor general. And
right.
The governor general's deputy is referred to as the governor general's deputy. They don't call. They don't say deputy governor general.
Right. I just wanted to touch on a few things, but I realized that we out of time.
Yes, so quickly.
But I just want to say that one of the big things for St. Kitts and Nevis, especially for 2021, was to host the CPL, and that is something that I love with a passion for me being a commentator, and I really would have enjoyed being there to describe the winning run. The winning run at just about 7 minutes before 3 on Wednesday the 15th, 2021 at Warner Park. I would have been very happy to describe that winning run by Drakes for St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. And it's unfortunate that it had to come at a time during a pandemic. So we would not have had the opportunity to celebrate how we would have normally celebrated when our country win the CPL. We would have had the guys them here, and we would have been able to mingle, have we party, have we motorcade, and everything. And also they had to rush down to the IPL down there in India. So, it kind of ending. We couldn't really celebrate as we wanted to because, as I said, the pandemic. But we have recorded one of the countries to win the CPL. And being the smallest independent nation in the world, we are very, very happy. And I'm very, very proud. And to be honest, that is an understatement. Very, very and extremely proud of the performance of my team. And in reference to the COVID, I wanted to touch more on that, but I guess I will have to leave that and to say that I am extremely proud that we are perhaps one, or if not the only country in the Caribbean to host classes in school for the whole year. Excellent development in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Tremendous and outstanding success in reference to the tourism development in St. Kitts and Nevis. And as you know, the minister was voted as the best minister of tourism in the Caribbean. But I want to ask you before I leave, do you know any other country in the Caribbean or in the world to pay a double salary in a crisis?
No, I don't. No.
What do you think in reference to this particular position in St. Kitts and Nevis, in reference to the government in a position to pay a double salary? What are your really views about this particular position?
At this time, caller, we're out of time, so I don't want to continue, but I've given my views. I think the double salary, many families who got were able to benefit. Some were able to catch up on their finances, and they were able to have a good time for Christmas. But we're really out of time, so I'm going to have to end this call with you, and we wrap up today's edition of Voices. So thank you so much for your contribution, and I wish you and your family the very best for the remainder of the year, and the very best for the new year.
Okay.
Ahead.
Yeah, let me just say quickly that we will continue the debate hopefully in the new year. So let me just wish you and the station and our proud Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis the very best for the rest of 2021 and a successful, productive, and enjoyable 2022. So I will leave it there for now because there's a tremendous amount of things that we have to discuss in the future. You take care.
And you take care as well. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. This is the end of Voices here on WINNFM 98.9. Today is the last day of 2021. It's Friday, December 31st. I want to wish you the very best for the new year ahead. I know you have new goals, new things that you want to accomplish. They call them New Year resolutions. And so I'm hoping that you can achieve that for you and your family and, of course, your loved ones and friends and whomever you want to have a good time with for the new year. Until next time, stay safe. Remember to wear your mask, wash your hands. And, of course, if you're driving, please wear your seatbelt. Even if you're in the back seat, wear your seatbelt. Yes, drive safe. And I wish you guys the very best for the new year. This was another edition of Voices, and I've been your host for today, Devon Connie. That's for those of you who just tuned in. It was a recap of 2021. We were talking of some of the headlines and some of the things that made headlines for 2021. Of course, callers had the opportunity to call in and give their take on things that made the headlines for the new year. Until next time, stay safe. All the best for the new year. You guys have a good one.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Free messaging just got